root file. We call it pay-m, just like that. Boom. And with that, I am going to go out here to pay-m, the new file. And I'm also going to, I got to get rid of crap on my screen. HTML, just right here. And I'm going to just try it yourself. And I'm going to take this, because there's no plagiarism in here. We're just going to copy and paste it in. I mean, this is just standard stuff. So I'm just going to paste that in. Boom. Okay, I got my initial thing. And I'm going to type in payment calculator. Okay? That's in the head section. So in the head section is where I need that function. Now, remember, we've got 3 inputs. And there's 3 inputs going all to 1 output. And that means it goes to a function. So if I was going to do that again, it would be this, 3 inputs going all into 1 function for 1 output. Okay? So just as you did your calculator stuff, you're going to need to do your 3 inputs down in this body section here. Your function will be up here, and then your actual finishing statement will be there. So I'm going to see, so what I'll do is I'm going to do in here, first of all, let's just create, I'll just leave those paragraphs in there for now, but I'm going to do, let me just go back here, the payment. So I'm going to take these 3 inputs right here. Okay. They're actually right here. I'm going to take that and I'm going to my payment area and I'm going to just paste it just for the sake of time. But okay, so I have input ID. I named it PV. I named it R. N and R for years and whatever. Now you can do it anything you want, but input ID, just an input by itself. I had somebody do it like this and didn't even bother to put something in. And when they saved it and ran it, they ended up with a box, let me get this out of the way, with nothing in it. And I'm like, well, you got to explain what it is. I've had people put the information in front of it, like out in here, how much do you wish to borrow? And that's okay. It doesn't matter. Okay. They're just 3 inputs. Okay. So now I'm going to rerun that thing. So now they have, how much do you wish to borrow, an entry? Okay. And you put in for how many years? Okay. Instead of years here. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now I actually use these screen inputs like PV, like N, and like R. Let's see. And what is your annual, gotta spell right, interest rate? Okay. Okay. And I'll get rid of this one here because I don't need that. All right. And let's run it. And now it says how much you wish to borrow, what's your annual interest rate, and what happened to the other one for how many years? Oh, how much do you wish to borrow? Oh, it's all there. What? Annual interest rate, for how many years? Where's for how many years in there? Do you see it in there? Some reason it disappeared, right?
Yeah, how many years disappeared in there?
That shouldn't have. Let's do BR for how many years. Input ID, BR, run. Well, let's take off this thing here. I just want to see if the text comes up. So I must not have finished. Okay, I know what happened. I'm going to undo. I'm going to put that back in now. Oops, for how many years? Control X, I'm going to put it right there. I know what happened. See, every little thing happens. Input ID, something happened to my ID. Okay, things got moved around. Input ID, and we got to finish it with a P, right?
Yep.
Input ID. Now you can put present value or not. No, this is present value, PV, present value. Now if I run it, it's going to work fine. Okay, so boom, 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 calculate monthly interest rate. And if you want to calculate monthly interest rate, a little further down, you can do another BR or whatever, or whatever, just to give you a little bit of a gap. It doesn't matter. So basically, we've got our three inputs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all down in this body section, as you can see from here to here. Okay. And I don't need this as a paragraph or heading. I'm going to take, okay, let's call this just the same as the title of the thing, payment calculator. Okay. I don't need this one. Boom. So we're shortening it up a little bit, but you get the idea. And then I'm going to run it, which will save it at the same time. And it says payment calculator. How much you should borrow, how many years, interest rate. Okay, we have a button here on click button.
Mm-hmm.
Do a payment function. We could call that anything we want. We could call the function, whatever we call it, pay YMT. We'll do that just for the heck of it. So up here, underneath the title is where we type in our script portion. So we first have to start off with script.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a function. And what's the function name? PYMT, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they'll start the function with the brace up here. And remember, you always have to have a brace behind it. So that's kind of what we'll do here. Sometimes they'll run it down to the next line like this. It doesn't matter. Okay. Payment function. Okay. So when we click this button, it's going to do something. And so let's do an alert just for the heck of it. Hi. And of course, we want to try to finish all of our statements off with a semicolon, run it. So when I do, something is wrong now. Oh, you know what? I didn't finish my script. /script. Okay, run it. And now if I hit calculate monthly payment, it says hi right in the middle of the screen. Because it says alert. So if we want to see if things come through, we can say, well, let's put in the PV, make sure PV's coming through. So I'll put in PV and run it, which saves it. And then I'll put in, okay, how much do you want to borrow? And I put in 789. And when they hit calculate monthly payment, object element, it didn't come through PV. Okay, so let's see, PV, object, HTI, okay. Oh, I haven't assigned the element into the function. So I got to do a let, lowercase let, PV equal, because this PV here is a PV for a variable inside the script, and this PV is an ID for this input on the screen. So you can have PV equals a PV. Okay, so then we're going to pull from the document, dot get element by ID. We're going to get what we're going to get. We're going to get the ID PV and its value. So we want the value of PV, this here, on that element ID, the element ID PV value, and we're going to, from the document, and we're going to stuff it into the variable PV. So sometimes that gets confusing, but you don't have to have both. And I think normally this is got a quote around it. Okay. All right. Now, if you take a look at my payment here, yeah, it does. Okay. But I'm walking you through it. Now, if we do alert PV, it should work. So if you're really into doing this, if you're really into fiddling around with it, this is how I started learning how to do things. So I'm going to put big number, calculate monthly payment, and sure enough, that number that I put up here comes in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm pulling the values through it. Now, if I wanted to change this, and I could make this like PA, little case A, and I could change this to NN and this to RR, it doesn't matter, 3 R's. So we're just going to do that for the fun of it. So I'd have to change this then to PA, pull the value, the ID value, PA, okay, from the document into the thing called PV. It would still work. I run it, put in whatever numbers, blah, 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 hit run. It's going to give those numbers, okay? So let's just use these messed up things. You can use duplicates. I just wanted to show you that. So we're going to do some more let statements. Am I going too fast?
Nope.
Okay. So here we're going to, so it's very similar to your other calculator you did, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do, we need a N, and I'm going to pull it from NN, because that's what the document shows down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I'm going to grab that. I'm going to paste it in again. Oops, I got an extra. And this is R, and I'm going to pull it from the value. I think I got 3 R's, R. And whenever you want to check to see if it's working, you can, this alert thing is just a temporary thing just to show you. So I'll run it. Let's see if R is pulling through and blah, blah, blah. This is just debugging. Let's do 444, calculate monthly payment. Oops, oh, what's the problem? Okay, R. Let R, oh, I got to remember, it's not R. I'm pulling, this is within JavaScript, so I have to do the variable R. There we go. You don't do this very often. Okay, so we'll just put in 4444 and calculate monthly payment, and all the fours come through. Okay, great. So we know our variables are coming through. I don't need the alert anymore, unless later on I want to use it for purposes. Now I got to sign the thing, and so we basically have this payment function that I told you to use just by copying it straight out of the assignment and putting it in there. So I'm going to just put it in there. That's straight out of the text I gave you on Canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, I probably should have left the alert in there. Alert. We're going to do it a P, capital P. Remember, it's case sensitive, and you want to do, so I should have left that in there. Let me run it real quick. Let's see if I do the 25,006 and 6 should be $432, $414.32. Yeah. So the number comes up right. And so now it's just a matter of putting it back in the document. So we put in here, we said, this case, instead of let's, we just start off with document.getElementID, and we're going to place something in that. Okay, so we'll document, get element by ID, and what ID do we want to call it? I used ANS, but let's just use PAY, just for the heck of it. Okay, equals. Okay. Now we could put in high just to test it. Now where's that going to go? Well, we don't have an ID to put high into pay into the ID unless we come down here and we create one. So let's do a page break. P with an ID equal to pay. Okay. Whatever is going in this blank will be substituted. Right now I got a period in there. If I run it, you'll see a period on the screen right down here, right here. You can see it right there. Now we don't need to have blanks or anything in there. You can take it all out, but we're just gonna, we'll just leave it there so we know that it's gonna fit in there just for the heck of it. So let's see what happens when I run it again. And if I calculate monthly payment, something should go in there. Document.getElementID equals pay. Pay equals high. Okay. Now, if we actually take a look at it, I'm missing something here. Document.get inner HTML. We have to put in what we want to do. So we're going to put this in the HTML. That's the inner HTML. So I left off that piece. So I got to do a dot inner HTML equals high. So this high will go on to the inner HTML. This is our HTML down here, right? We'll go into pay, and that'll go into that spot right there. Okay. run it. Just hit it and it'll say hi. And if I had something else in there, like nothing, just for the heck of it, nothing will get replaced by the minute I put in calculate monthly payment, because in here it replaces everything inside that spot. So we don't need anything. Okay, so we're basically done with it, except for the last little thing. We can pull this up here. We need to put P in there. Okay, so capital P, remember lowercase, uppercase matters, to fixed. And we wanted to do it 2. I'm going to put 3 in there just for the fun of it. Let's run it. And let's see what happens here. 25,000, 6 and 6. Okay, I got 3 after the decimal. Of course, you'll want to change that to 2. Now we want to make this in a sense format. Now there's many ways to do that. I'm showing you a way of concatenation. Look at the quote saying, if you take a loan out for, okay, and we finish the quotes, we have a space there, we put a plus, PV plus, quote, your payment will be, and my word wrap needs to be on, and it's not. I think I can go into settings here. Okay, your payment will be, quote, plus. So what that does is these quotes are text, and this pulls out these variables here and here. So if I run it, it could be anything now. I validated it. Now see, it's all smashed up there, right? So I'd probably want to put to be in a space and a $sign. And then that'll make it look better. I'm just gonna put in anything just because, now the $sign looks a little bit better. All right. Of course, I want to make that to 2, of course. But then you go on for blank. Okay, if you take a loan out for this amount, and then I want you to keep using these variables in here for, okay. And remember, you need to put spaces in there, otherwise you'll get it for N. Oops, got to hit a plus, quote, base years. Your payment will be, now with that, okay, did something wrong. Years. Oh, I messed up. Okay, let's take a look at that. For N years, I don't need another quote there. Because remember, it's all for N years, comma there. Your payment will be whatever. Run it. And we'll put in 10,000 and 5 and whatever. Okay, I have an extra plus in there. I take that plus out. Then that will make that disappear. But you can see, if you take a loan out for $1,000 for 5 years, your payment will be, and now you need to put in the interest rate. Okay, so 3 input values, just like you did with your first number, second number for your calculator, right? But you got to do 3 numbers. I've had people put in FN, SN, TN, and so they're FN, SN, and TN is up here, right? And then they ran it into, make sure you run it into these variables and pay attention to the caps, and then copy and paste that formula in here. And then just do this inner HTML portion and make sure it goes down into an ID, just similar to like you did with the other types of, the calculators you did, okay?
Yep. Okay.
Does that clear it up for you?
Yes, it definitely does. Thank you.
So some people have done a lot of programming, and some people are like, Some people have resorted to using the AI, and then they did use my formula. I says, it's a zero unless you use my formula. I wanted them to the whole thing about this is to understand that you have three inputs now, just like you had two inputs in the calc. So you had two inputs and you had four functions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you do any of those functions with those two inputs, and then they give you a singular output, right, to a singular spot. In this case, you have three, one, two, three, with just one function going to a single output. This is your one function with the three variables coming in, then your calculation based on those three variables, because PB comes into here, R comes into here, your R, your N, and whatever else, boom. That's it.
Okay.
All right. And if you go through and look at my video, I review it a little bit. This probably makes more sense now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to your calculator. Throw it all up into the script, your one function. Make sure you get your three, make sure you have your out just like your calculators, and you'll get it. You'll get it. Just finish up the statement. Make sure you include all three. You've got to include the R in that statement. That at this such and such interest rate, your payment will be whatever, and change that, of course, to 2, and you're set.